Well, we're here with George Huber, who came down from Lafayette, Louisiana, here to the French Quarter in New Orleans. And as you can hear, there's a lot of ambient sound going on because we are in the French Quarter. But George, thanks a lot for coming all this way so we could interview you about your amazing experiences. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with all these strange anomalies, not here in New Orleans, but actually in other parts of the United States.
Well, I've always been interested in the bizarre, I guess you could say. I used to be a reader about the pyramids and stuff coming up in high school. But when I started listening to Coast to Coast, I got into it a little bit more. And Coast to Coast kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things. And I just listened, and I was interested. I'd call in and make comments, but I had nothing to relate personally. So I actually prayed to the Holy Spirit to show me something, because I'm a Catholic and I had a reconversion to my religion, and I took it seriously for the first time. And for the first time, the Holy Spirit entered me and started answering me, and I was really shocked. And so it gave me a little bit more confidence. I said, well, show me something. Let me see the reality of this, because I'm tired of hearing about it from other people. I want to go see it myself. So as fate would have it, I was online and I saw this UFO Congress coming up in Laughlin. So I booked it immediately, and within 3 days I was over there in Nevada. And I had a roommate that they fixed up online. I didn't know him. I didn't know if I would be with a Martian or what, you know. So it was kind of weird, but we hit it off pretty good. And in the conference, I was taking some shots while the speakers were speaking, and I picked up these orbs for the first time. I never knew what an orb was.
When you say you picked them up, what do you mean by that?
I mean, they captured them on digital camera.
Now, since that time, you've seen tons of stuff all over the place. And you've made some sketches of some of the things that you've shot.
Correct.
I want to look at some of these sketches, and then I want to look at some of your photographs.
Okay.
So let's get the sketches out here, and let's take a look at it.
Okay. Now this is what I regularly see on a nightly basis using Generation 3 night vision goggles. But when you combine the Generation 3 night vision with infrared spotlight.
Okay.
I have a 2 million candle infrared spotlight, which shoots up into the sky like a beam.
Okay.
You can't see it with your naked eye, but when you look through the goggles, it looks like an intense beam shooting through the sky.
And you broke this down, these objects into looks like about 8 categories, and then you've kind of put your own nomenclature on it. Why don't you explain to us a little bit about each one of these?
Okay. These are the different types of things that I regularly see at night. This here is what I call the snowflake. It has almost emerald-like qualities. This here is a flat mirror-like orb. It shines at you. It'll kind of get translucent and fade off into nothing. This is an orb in flight. It's actually a flat orb that when it travels in a certain direction, it folds back into a cone shape, and you can see them flying all through the sky. This here is an orb that will sometimes come right before you, and it'll flash these moving stripes. These stripes will move. And what I think this is just another version of all of this, which this here is a black centered orb. I've seen those, and they will also transform into this, and that will transform into this, and this will transform into that. This is a whirling spiral orb. This is the spiral that is kind of undone. It'll actually, when they move real fast sometimes, they'll kind of undo and then snap together again into another vortex spiral, which is what they seem to look like. They're a spiraling vortex.
Okay.
Is what they look like.
And these are the kind of the different orbs that you see.
I see this
regularly, whether it's in California or Louisiana.
Well, I haven't had the night vision goggles for very long, but I mostly see them in Louisiana because I go out every night in my backyard.
You're seeing these in your backyard?
In my backyard.
Amazing.
Right.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. I'd like to take a look at some of these other drawings that you have here.
All right. Now, these were all perceived in live vision. these here, some of these are digital photography. Like, I haven't seen anything like this in live vision, but I've seen it in digital shots, which orbs with smiling faces. I picked up in digital shots these luminous forms, abstract forms. They're super bright, and they seem to have little nodules and stuff inside of them. This here is like a bird-like flying orb, which a lot of people call a fairy. They do look a lot like fairies, but they don't have a face or anything. It's just a big, you can see it's so bright. It's just a big luminous thing, and it flies in front of you.
Okay.
This here is a amorphic luminous type that has like a combined face, a bunch of faces all tied into one. You might see one big overall face, and then you'll see little faces all jammed up in them, and some of them overlap. This here is a sinister, I call it a sinister orb because of the pitchfork and the disgruntled looking face.
I've actually seen this one on a shed in my friend Steve's backyard. Looks exactly like this. It's very strange.
Yeah, maybe he's making road trips. But right here is another orb, and they seem to stick their tongue out at you.
This kind of looks like Richard Nixon right there.
Yeah, it does have that look.
And they actually stick their tongue out at you.
Yeah, they have a look. There's something about sticking their tongue out with these orbs. I've seen it many a times.
Okay.
That they stick their tongue out.
All right.
Ken, I got to show you one more thing, because this is what I call the grand finale. Now, we're familiar with the object that I told you about earlier.
Right.
Now, on this particular night in September or October, I got it written down. I came out and I saw this object floating out from my backyard. And I said, what's going on tonight? You know, and I kind of talked to it. It went up over the sky about maybe 50 feet up, and it put on a light show. This is what it did. It exploded into this. These bars, I would say, scale-wise, might be 20 feet, and super bright. If it would have been a firework display, it would have been an incredible 4th of July type thing.
This is in your backyard?
In my backyard.
And this is how many feet above your house?
30.
30 feet?
30 feet.
So it was specially for you?
It was me. It was for me.
Okay.
And this thing exploded, it shrunk, it did all kind of unbelievable shape-shifting. This is what these whirling cigar shapes, they expose themselves for the first time in this shot all together. It's almost like saying, this is what we are. This is us together, all assembled. They shrunk back down into this and floated off to the northwest, and I haven't seen them since. They were saying goodbye, is what I think. Whether they'll come back, I don't know, but it was something directly communicated to me, and it's unexplainable.
Well, I don't think you ever believed that I'd take a boat out here on the Mississippi and get close to this shipyard to get the footage that I said I wanted to get.
I'll give you credit. You're absolutely right. I did not think you would actually go to that length.
Yeah.
But you have,
Well,
and I'm glad you did, because I'm really confident we're going to end up capturing something unusual.
As it turned out, Steve was more than right. We caught many startling anomalies. Here is a truly remarkable picture that was snapped just after we arrived at the Avondale shipyard. Keep in mind that we had a picture-perfect day with not a cloud in the sky. In fact, the early evening was totally clear, with visibility as far as the eye could see. And yet, when this picture was taken, there was a shroud of fog hanging over the shipyard. The camera captured something entirely different than what we were seeing. something supernatural. Then, superimposed on this fog, or as some called ectoplasm, was a face of an animal-like creature which seemed to be looking down and observing us. After this initial photograph, we began to capture pictures of strange orbs not only over the shipyard, but all around us. Whatever it was we were trying to capture seemed to come from light sources utilized to create and superimpose images. Here on the side of a crane, for example, is a koala bear type image. And then what I consider an even more remarkable image of a type of stickman holding a tool.
You have a light. Let's take a look at this light. So when you shine that light, what does that do?
This produces a 2 million candle infrared spotlight.
And why is that important?
Because in combination with the night vision,
Yeah.
when you put the infrared light on, these orbs luminesce.
Okay. Jordan, now you were saying that it's this kind of lighting that seems to be perfect lighting for what we're looking
Right.
for.
Most of the activity that I come across starts taking place right about now. Right when you're losing that last thread of daylight,
Okay.
the night comes on. And,
So we should be in perfect position if we're going to see something.
we're going to see something, you know. I have seen some activity.
What are you seeing?
I'm seeing orbs light up and then go off.
The whole time while on board the ship, we seemed to be attracting a great deal of attention and interest. Are the orbs benign or malevolent? This unnerving photograph may give us insight and provide an answer into this troubling question. Here it can be seen of an orb actually fixing itself to the back of Steve's head. Of course, it's only speculation, and as wild as it may seem, the orbs may be some kind of probe system sent out to gather information. In this remarkable picture, our friend George is being spotlighted and singled out as he is marked with a green and red light, first on his arm and then moving up and onto his face.
Coast Guard. We may get chased out of here. No, it didn't. Where'd the one over here go?
It turned into a plane and flew off.
He's tight on the ACL hair hands, perfectly.
That's no plane.
As we turned our boat and headed back up the Mississippi River several miles to our port, a strange visitor was shadowing our return and tracking our journey back home.